me click that real quick. There we go. So thank you all. Hopefully you all will see that we're on live. I posted lots of notifications, but I want you all to know about Dr. Kathy. She is just truly fantastic. It has just been such a joy and a blessing to get to know her and to get to work with her. And I want you all to get to know her and work with her too, because she is just literally the best pediatrician I have ever found and come in contact with. I so wish that I had known her when my children were little, because she would have made a complete and total difference in the lives of especially my oldest daughter. And so, whereas I was trying to do everything on my own, and we had fantastic chiropractic care, which I was so thankful for that, but having a pediatrician that really understands root cause and really wants to educate her patients and understand the value of supporting the body properly is such a blessing to have that versus constantly always treating things just with medication and really not getting quality care as far as just seeing people really quickly and you're in and out so fast, and just having time to talk about your wonderful child and knowing that this doctor really cares about you and wants to help your child in whatever they're going through and really get to the root of the problem so that they can experience true vitality in their life and true health. And that really sets a family free when you have a child that has problems, to have their health back. Our health is everything. What we are able to do in life revolves around our health. And so, I just wanted to bring you all on and introduce you to Dr. Kathy. Please post your questions in the chat as we're talking here, any type of question that you might have for her. And so I wanted to start out just by talking about the light therapy technology that has kind of connected you and I, and just tell us what value you see in that, and why it is that's something that you think is truly valuable in our health.
Okay. So I met Nikki probably almost a year ago, and she was at a health conference, a wellness conference, and had a booth with her technology, and I had a booth with Freedom Pediatrics. And so I saw that, it was a technology that activated stem cells. And I knew stem cell therapy was really expensive. And so I thought, wow, how could you do that? Could you activate them instead of actually getting a stem cell injection or infusion or something? So she kind of explained to us about the technology and had lots of clinical examples and research and stuff. So we found it pretty amazing. My husband had been through a very prolonged illness and needed a lot of support and a lot of stuff to help him recover. And so the technology that Nikki had really has helped him. So we were very excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think it can be valuable for any type of thing going on with anyone?
Well, probably because stem cells are your way to repair. So in adults, we start losing our active stem cells pretty young, definitely by 30, and then every decade it gets worse. So if you don't have a way to keep them activated so that they can repair things in your body, that's aging. And
Mhm.
so when our bodies age, then things don't repair well. You need absolute repair in so many ways. Your DNA has to exactly replicate all the time. And if there are mistakes, it has to be repaired. And there's just so many things that can go wrong when you don't have a good repair mechanism. So that is important. And then also in children with chronic illness, because there's so many kids now, 51% of our kids have chronic illness. So, unfortunately, and it wasn't that way, decades ago, but they actually need help with repair as well. So if they have neurobehavioral problems or things that are, just emotionally challenging situations, they need help as well. And the stem cell activation technology can help them too.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yes. So, okay, so let's dive into Freedom Pediatric. You have so many unique parts and pieces to what you're doing with pediatric care, but then also, I want you're doing health coaching for adults that can cross state lines as well, right? With the health
Yeah.
coaching aspect you have to your business, which is truly phenomenal. And then you're starting to dive into even some homeopathic care as well, which is fantastic. That would have been another one of those things that if I could have, checked on my list of knowing what I was doing would have been so valuable for my kids when they were, young. So tell, and you're a lactation specialist and all of it. So give us your bio because it's truly, like I said, you all want to know Dr. Kathy because she's phenomenal. So tell us about yourself and your practice.
Well, I'm kind of like a professional student because I'm constantly learning new things, it seems. So I've been a pediatrician for 33 years, and I used to be just your traditional pediatrician, the one you go in and see for 7 to 10 minutes, and it's a very quick visit, and you get a prescription if you're sick, or you get vaccines if you're well. So um, I had a big wake up call during COVID, and my husband was hospitalized for a long time. Thank God he survived, and
Praise the Lord.
miraculously
Mhm.
so.
Yes.
But unfortunately, through that, I saw some of the dark side of my profession, and I began to question things. So when I started going down that road, it led me to looking at the root cause of illness. So there is a root cause for the illnesses that we have. And unfortunately, in medicine, what we do is we band-aid that. We band-aid the symptom. We make you get by just enough to get by. And then you don't really get better. If you take a pharmaceutical, you get by maybe for the day if you have ADHD and you can focus and concentrate, but that medicine wears off and you're worse than you were to start with. So you got to take it tomorrow too. And so that turns out a lot of money for the pharmaceutical industry, and keeps you on a drug or medication for a very long time. That's really not what healthcare should be. Healthcare should be
Great.
getting well, actually improving,
Mhm.
improving to the point where you don't need to take that medicine because now you're better. That's what it should be. So we've gotten into this vicious cycle of pharmaceuticals all the time. And then you take another pharmaceutical to counter the effects of the first one, that you have more side effects. So then you take a third one. And so it begins to build, and then they interact, and then you have bad interactions. So instead of actually saying, well, here's the root cause of that problem, why don't we fix that? Then we won't have all this problem. So that's what I have spent the last few years learning, which is essentially functional medicine for children, through the Medical Academy of Pediatric Special Needs. I'm also a certified lactation consultant, so I've done that for decades. Excuse me, I've done um, breastfeeding consultation and helped lots and lots of moms to breastfeed, solve lots of breastfeeding problems, and been really, really successful with that. So, I'm still learning. I've found um, homeopathy, and I'm really very, very interested in it. So I'm learning that now, and I'm incorporating some of it into the practice. Works extremely well for children. If you want to keep your kids healthy and not have to use pharmaceuticals, homeopathy is just such a good tool to have in your toolbox.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. So when you are seeing someone and you're trying to discover root cause, then I know you run some type of genetics testing, right? A specialty panel for that.
Well, I don't, no, not usually. Usually what we do is an organic acid test, which is a urine test. and also a gut health test. So we
Okay.
can look at their gut microbiome, and that is um, greatly going to influence the brain health. So
Mhm.
there's a huge connection between your gut and your brain. And if your gut isn't healthy, if you don't have the right bacteria that are helping you in your gut, then you've got the wrong bacteria and you're going to have some symptoms, and that can definitely lead to disease. So those are the two basic things that we look at. There is a genomics test that I do as well. That is by far the most expensive test. So that's kind of the be all end all, and that's for kids like who have things like autism, or maybe for ADHD, things that are very difficult to treat. We might want to go to genomics. So
Mhm.
and then we have a really good answer, because we know that, gosh, you were susceptible to that vaccine adjuvant and other kids were not. And so that's why you got the bad effect and the other ones didn't. So that way you can kind of really pinpoint very, very tiny alterations in your DNA called SNPs that predispose you to certain conditions. And then we know where the problem is, and so then we can work on trying to fix it.
Absolutely. And so with that genomics, then that piece of information would also say that there is a potential dysfunction there as well. So it also needs to be supported regularly as well. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, because not everyone's metabolism is the same. Some people have, a need for higher amounts of micronutrients and minerals, and other people, can get away with a lower amount. So there's just it's very individualized therapy. And that's whether we're doing an organic acid test or gut health test, we still individualize therapy. You can't do that in the 7 to 10 minute pediatric visit. You cannot do very much of anything other than name it, blame it, and tame it with a prescription. And that doesn't last very long. And, refer kids for OT, PT, and speech, but that's not going to get to the root of the problem. That's going to help you recover as your brain health gets better, but it's still not going to fix the root of the problem. So that's something that I think we need to start thinking about in this country, is what's causing this problem? Why don't we figure that out and fix that? Now, unfortunately, the things that we do to fix that and to test, find out what that is, are not anything that happens in a regular medical office or through an insurance company. So we are pretty much have to go outside of that, because these things are just not covered. Um, Unfortunately, they should be. The supplements that you need and the light technology and all of that really should be, because we'd be a whole lot healthier if we could do that. But medicine is very reactive. So it's good for emergency situations, and just kind of, wait till something is just terrible and then you go to the ER. It's very reactive. But dialing that way back to, oh, I have these symptoms, I wonder what I should do. Uh, you just kind of wait until something major happens. So,
Right.
um,
Yes.
yeah. And
Pursuing health.
as far as adults, so I am um, going to see adults for just very specific problems. So I kind of would want to do a discovery call and see exactly what it was, just because most of my experience is in pediatrics. And then as far as the health coaching that we can do for those that are outside of the state of Oklahoma, where my medical license is, we can definitely educate, inform, give lots of suggestions to get you on the right path, answer lots of questions and that kind of thing. So very similar, only it's not the practice of medicine, and there's obviously no pharmaceuticals involved and that kind of thing, but we still try to address the root cause.
Yeah. So in the health coaching, well, and also just don't you have a very like large network, like nationwide network of doctors that you're currently working with as well?
So, yes, I'm part of the Body Healthcare. It's thebodyhealthcare.com, and it is a network of doctors who are pretty enlightened to a lot of things that have gone on in our medical world in the last several years. And um, there are a lot of good physicians out there, so that's one resource. The other really good resource is the Independent Medical Alliance, and if you go on their website, they have a list of providers across the nation that are like-minded as far as health freedom and making decisions for your own health care.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So back to then the children, is there ever a time that you see a child that has, some of the specialty conditions that you really try to help with and recover those kids? Have you ever seen any of them not have some type of gut issue?
Well, most of the time they do have a gut issue.
Mhm.
So, a lot of the things that I do involve kids who have autism, ADHD, PANS and PANDAS, things that really the medical profession doesn't have a good way to deal with other than um, Band-Aid type pharmaceuticals. So, um, yeah, as far as autism, it's a huge issue with the gut, and that's, one of the things that we're really, look at, in
Mhm.
addition to their, metabolism, their micronutrients, and things like that too, and that's what the organic acid test is for.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I had a mom tell me a couple weeks ago that her autistic son was a million times better and she'd been working with me just since March. So
Praise the
uh,
Lord.
it's it really is nice to actually help people and see them get better instead of just trying to fit something that you can quickly do in 7 minutes and then move on. So
Yeah.
that's our healthcare system, unfortunately, and that's kind of what we're stuck with right now. Hopefully, it changes in the future.
Yes, absolutely. So what would be some very common prescription or not prescriptions as far as like not drugs, but things that you would utilize, supplementation or nutraceuticals, or what kind of therapies would you utilize to help recover some of these kids? What would be some common things you utilize?
Well, there are different things that are associated with, specific um, problems. So we can, if, for example, in the gut, it's not only um, autism where you have just so much inflammation and a leaky gut, and that leads to some things that get through into your blood and cross the blood-brain barrier and cause a lot of inflammation there. So we are trying to repair that gut and get the right balance of microbes in your gut. The other thing, things that I've helped kids with is just asthma and eczema, things that are the in the autoimmune category, atopic category. And so that is hugely related to the gut. So if we fix that gut microbiome, because again, 60% of your immune system is in your gut. So when you're able to make the adjustments needed and get a more beneficial bacteria into your gut, you don't get those bad immune reactions that give you, asthma and eczema and things like that. And they'll start to clear up. Sometimes, there are different little metabolic things that happen that, maybe you don't have enough neurotransmitters. Maybe you are having trouble with an enzyme making certain neurotransmitters, and that would be more in the metabolic area in the organic acid test. So when we look at that, it's a very complicated test, but it's easy to do because it's just a urine specimen, so no pokes and no needles. And then the genomics test is a buccal swab, so it's not a needle or poke either.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so tell us, you're involved with the MAPS organization as well, right?
Yes, I'm working on my fellowship, so hopefully by this fall sometime I should be a fellow of MAPS.
So tell us about that.
So the Medical Academy in Pediatric Special Needs, started by Dr. Dan Rossignol, and the current president is James Neuenschwander. And you can go online to medmaps.org. We're actually having a conference next month. It is a very deep dive into the biochemistry of functional medicine. So it is really for physicians and for not just MDs and DOs, but there are, some naturopaths and chiropractors if they want to torture themselves with that much biochemistry. So, but there is a lot of biochemistry involved, and unfortunately, we don't learn how to fix your biochemistry in medical school. We learn how to alter it with drugs. And so the difference is if you take an SSRI like Prozac or Lexapro or one of those to help your depression or anxiety, what you're doing is you're blocking the reuptake of serotonin. So you artificially raise it while the drug is in effect. So that's what SSRI means, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Whereas if you actually work on your biochemistry and you raise your natural level of serotonin and you get more serotonin that is actually made within your cells and in your gut, because 90% of it comes from your gut, then you actually feel a lot better because your serotonin level is higher. It's not an artificial elevation that wears off when the drug wears off. It is a real elevation because you're making more. That takes a lot longer. I mean, it takes months, and as opposed to I took my pill today and I'm fine,
Right.
so.
Yeah, but there's no additional damage created either. There's always
Correct.
additional
Yeah.
damage with the SSRIs.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, if with all these drugs that kids take, the amphetamines that are taken for ADHD, whenever kids are taking those, it is really messing with their dopamine, because it's a dopamine problem. And now there are studies that show that kids who have been on years of amphetamines like Ritalin have a much higher, like 7 times the risk of Parkinson's disease as adults,
Wow.
and getting Parkinson's disease at a younger age. So that's what we're doing when we just medicate our kids every single day, just so everybody can get through the day and doesn't get in trouble. That's what we're doing. We're creating, a situation where you've got this huge risk, because Parkinson's has to do with dopamine. It's the same neurotransmitter we're messing with. And so wouldn't it be so much better to learn how to create in your biochemistry the neurotransmitters that you need, so you actually don't need to artificially change it. You can have a real change.
Absolutely. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Yes. So so tell me, so about the homeopathics, then I know you're wanting to use that with the kids, but I at least wanted you to give everyone the information that you had shared with me about the flu shot and homeopathics. We have several people watching that actually aren't in our state right now. And so just, even for them to go and be able to find someone where they could find this homeopathic potentially as well as an option if they, would prefer to get the flu shot. But like you shared, with me, I want you to share them why maybe we wouldn't want to get the flu shot.
So the flu shot had negative efficacy last winter Negative efficacy means that you are actually more likely to get the flu if you get the flu shot than if you didn't get it at all. So
Crazy.
basically, you got a shot that made you more likely to get the flu and just gave you side effects. So previous winners, it's usually 30% effective, sometimes a little bit more, but not much more than that. And that's whether you get the injectable or the nose spray one. So um, homeopathy operates on a completely different principle. It is like cures like. And so it's I don't have enough time to explain what homeopathy is or how it exactly works, which I don't know that we know exactly how it works, because unfortunately it has to do with quantum physics and water memory. So it's a lot of physics. So
Yes.
but homeopathy actually uses your body's natural healing mechanisms to tap into that and cause you to improve, to get better. So in homeopathy, there is something called prophylaxis, which is prevention. And we have homeopathic prevention that you take through the winter once a month for the flu. And it's by mouth, it's little pellets that dissolve in your mouth. You do it once a month through the whole fall and winter, spring seasons. And that is something, it was one for COVID as well. So yeah, I will have some available. I should have some extra, I think, as well, if people want to contact me and are interested in that.
If they're
So
here in
that's
Tulsa.
definitely advantage. Yes, I'm in
Yeah.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if
And
they're not in Tulsa, how would they find someone to access the homeopathic for the flu or COVID like you're talking about?
so I actually have 4 orders that are out of state, so I can do that through the health coaching
Oh,
business. It is
perfect. Okay.
separate. So yeah, so we can do that as well. So
Awesome. That's amazing. And so then the health coaching that you're doing with adults is are you also working with, young adults or adults that are, that have autism or some of those other conditions as well? Are you branching out to be able to help those families?
I am working with a young adult who is autistic, lives with his mom, but
Right.
he's not able to live independently yet. But yes, I can, but again, probably the best thing is to just get in touch with me and call or email, and we can kind of figure out whether this is a problem that I can help you with.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. And so your website is freedompeds.com, is that correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
freedompeds.com. And I can give you the phone number as well. It's 918-947-9146.
Awesome. And you have a Facebook page also, correct? Freedom Pediatrics.
I do. I do. I have to say I haven't kept up with it the last few months.
Yeah,
Uh
so giving you a call is better.
about it. So yeah, so it's probably better to call me or email. It's drkathy at freedompeds.com, or go to freedompeds.com, and we'll kind of do a discovery call. And then if you're interested in the health coaching, our website is almost up. My husband's working on that, but if you contact me through Freedom Peds, we can get you set up with that.
Awesome, perfect. And so doctor spelled out your email or just Dr.
No,
Kathy?
it's Dr.
Dr.
Kathy.
Kathy, and it's Kathy with a Y, just so everybody knows, and with a K, Kathy. Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Kathy. You said freedompeds.com.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much for being on here, Dr. Kathy. I hope everyone that's watching just found this so valuable. I really hope that you'll reach out to her. It's amazing that, you can have access to her through her health coaching, across state lines, and even with her being involved with, the nationwide organization, and having access to that. If there's some of the other, specialties, or if she feels like there would be another doctor even in your area potentially that she could connect you with, So we just really appreciate you, Dr. Kathy. I'm so thankful that you're out there helping, all of these kids, especially in the Tulsa area. You're just such a blessing to have in our community. And I'm just so thankful to know you and call you friend and just be able to refer anyone I come into contact with to that has children, because I want them to have the truth. I want them to know that there are options for their children that are outside of, like you said, just pushing a medication and not having time to hear what's going on with them, and just truly the availability to recover, problems with children that so many times are labeled as they're stuck. They have to stay with that. They will have those things for the rest of their life. And so, talk about a breath of fresh air to know that there are options to where recovery and life and vitality and health can be experienced no matter what has gone on with them. And obviously, the sooner that they get to you, the better in being able to help recover those children. So thank you so much, Dr. Kathy, for all you're doing. You're such a blessing. Oh, and I also wanted to mention she has a book. Her and her husband have a book coming out in October. So just tell us the name of that book as well. You can pre-order on Amazon. I've pre-ordered mine. So go and support Dr. Kathy and her husband. Pre-order their book so you can hear their story just about the amazing experience that she went through, obviously very hard experience she went through with her husband, but then, just a fabulous story of, just pointing people to Jesus as well. So tell us about that real quick before we go.
I don't know how quick this is, but I will, I'll tell you the gist of it. So my husband was hospitalized with COVID. He spent 45 days on a ventilator in the ICU. He spent 3.5 months in the hospital. And that's when I saw the dark side of my profession. And I was awakened to a lot of things that were going on that I had no idea was going on. So that was my wake-up call. And while my husband was on the ventilator, he was in a medically induced coma for 3 weeks while on the ventilator. And during those 3 weeks, my husband went to heaven. So he had an incredible near-death experience. And that is what is chronicled in our book, along with the story of what was going on in the ICU from my standpoint, and things that I had to do to step in and help keep him alive.
Yes.
So the book is entitled I've Been to Heaven, and it's coming out October 14th. It is available on Amazon for pre-order. So if you just go to amazon.com, and if you look up either my name or my husband's name is Steve. So it's Steve. And the last name, you have to get the spelling right. It's Boyls, but it's Boyls. So there's no E. So if you do I've Been to Heaven, Steve Boyls, it'll come right up. And it's got a little sort of a synopsis in there of what happened, and you will be amazed at what happened to us, what happened to Steve, which was incredibly hopeful and very inspiring, and the miraculous turnaround that God did for us was just amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot wait to get it and just be able to. I know we've talked multiple times about it, but all the details and, kind of getting an opportunity to experience that with you and just read your story, I think is going to be amazing. So please go on, pre-order the book, reach out to Dr. Kathy, learn about the options that you have for your children with her. So you have multiple options as far as whether they are monthly or just needing one-time care options with you, right? Based on an acute issue, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and just the way that a practice works when there's a doctor that really wants to help you, and the way her practice is set up is truly, truly phenomenal. You really have someone on your team for helping support you and your family and your child, and whether it's lactation, autism, PANS, PANDAS, ADHD, or whatever it might be, asthma, like she mentioned, whatever it might be, or just because they're sick and you want to go to a doctor that you trust, that is going to give you the best, advice for how to support your child's health, whether that's homeopathics or, nutraceuticals or whatever it might be, but just knowing that you're not going to be automatically pushed into, medication, that there are other options and there are ways to support your body naturally without actually causing side effects and breakdown in the body that have long-term effects even with that. So email her, drkathy@freedompeas.com. She gave you her phone number. I will go back in the chat and I will put all that stuff in there as well. But please reach out to her, order her book. And thank you so much again, Dr. Kathy. Like I said, just such a blessing to know you. And thanks for being on tonight. So hopefully there will be lots of people reaching out. So have a great evening.
Thanks. You too, Nikki.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.